Hey guys, Kimberzelik here, and welcome to my channel and all that. Like, subscribe, blah blah blah. I've been working on putting the powered workhead, is that what it's called, for the KOD cutter grinder. I've been working on putting that spindle housing back together. And I am that close. Actually, I'm that close, like a millimeter. I'm going to drive that ring down to get the spring clip in there. About 2 millimeters at the most. And the idea is going to leave the motor off of it, mounted on the radial grinding arbor. Right, and use the collet holder in that spindle to be able to, house collets and hold tools and items to be sharpened, I guess. I don't. I think there's going to have to be a way to lock that spindle to keep it from turning, and I may have that. There's a couple of plugs on the sides that, and I'm not sure if they're locks or not. It may already have a lock, but I don't understand. I got a picture in my mind of how it might work, but not a real clear picture. But I have a subscriber and follower who is a viewer who is willing to help me, find some collets and just kind of guide me along the way. I'm starting to really see the potential of the cutter grinder machine, the tool cutter grinder. Okay, so also yesterday I was perusing Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, and I saw I'm not sure what the numbers are. It's a bandsaw, a horizontal vertical bandsaw from Harbor Freight. It's their $240, $250 saw. So I'm like, well, maybe not, And then I woke up today, and it was about an hour away from my house, and so I contacted the guy, and he was available. So I went and picked it up, and it literally looks like it was used one time. It had some aluminum shavings on the tray. The little wheels on the back were like brand new condition. It's barely been moved. And there was just, like I say, just a few chips. And there was an issue of something rubbing on a bearing that was getting grease on the blade. And I just, let's take a look at this real quick. I just need to get this ring tapped down another 2 millimeters to get this spring clip down in there as lock. And besides the punch, I've been using this roll of tape, and you'd be surprised how much strength that cardboard has. And once that gets seated down where it belongs and lubricated. So here's my saw, $175. So about, I saved probably about $75, I guess. You can see some grease here coming from these bearings. And what was happening is this piece here here down was coming in contact with this bearing and drawing grease out of it or from somewhere back in there and getting it on the blade. So I took a hacksaw and made some clearance. So that shouldn't be a problem anymore. Has a little table. I'm sure you've all seen this. The guy didn't bother putting the belt guard on, and he left me with quite a few nuts and bolts extra. So, for those of you who are not familiar with this, it has this table that mounts here to give you that work. It's got to come off before you can close the saw. Now Mr. Pete has an upgrade concerning this vise and this table, and I'm going to be in contact with him and at least rewatch that video and see if that's really something I'm interested in. And I think I am. And I know this is old hack for you guys, but I think it's kind of neat that you know, it comes down and cuts the power off when the cut is done. So it's kind of hard to justify, you know, spending that money because, you know, the most I have to cut is, you know, some round stock that might be, you know, an inch and a. It's hard for me to turn anything much greater than an inch. I can go an inch and a half with the 4-jaw chuck, maybe more. But with the 3-jaw chuck, 1 inch is about it. But then again, if I'm cutting material like this, and I think the Europeans are calling this silver steel, I'm calling it ground. Hardened and ground. Let's get a file on this and see. See, that's not. That's just marking it. Now I'm cutting that. That's a good piece. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's 12L14. But this here, I don't think I'll be turning this. That is hard stuff. Now here's another piece that's softer. So I got 3 good pieces there. And let me show you where that came from. And then here's this piece here. It just slides right off of that. But I have several containers of stuff like this. We call that a flanged bushing, I guess. It's all rather, can I say, goopy right now. I'm kind of low on evaporust, and Well, there's a little tiny end mill. Let's see if I can read anything on there. No, not today. But sometimes if I need to increase the volume of material in my evaporust container, I'll just dump a bunch of that stuff in there and fill up all the gaps and bring the level up, the liquid level up. Okay, we'll see if YouTube makes that a thumbnail or whatever they call it. Okay, just a short update. I wanted to show off my new saw and the progress on the spindle housing for the Kimberzelik cutter grinder powered workhead. And the reason I say I'm not going to hook the motor up to it is because the motor seems to be 3-phase 480 only. But get an electrician down here to check that out and make sure it's that is the case. It may run on low voltage 3-phase, but maybe not quite as efficiently. So all that's yet to be determined. These always take so much longer than I anticipated. Alright guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing.